Hello, it's Rob here. This week, it's another double episode drop. This time because it really is a single episode in 2 parts. Too much event for a single chapter to contain. To Christopher and Phil, our latest supporters, thank you for helping to sustain us. You can join the party at patreon.com/plugandhum, where you'll also get access to our Chaos Children feed. Thanks, as always, for rating and subscribing, and for spreading the word of Dark Nexus to those in your life that might enjoy our ongoing adventures here. To all the Rash Mamby fans out there, I'm so glad you're enjoying him as much as you are. And hey, look, as requested, you finally get some awesome Matt Wahlquist art for him this week. Yay! On to the show. Welcome back to Dark Nexus. Tonight, it's Act 1, Chapter 29. All right, welcome back. Let's see, where were we? Let me check my notes. Oh, right. Our heroes were just about to commit multiple acts of premeditated murder. Cool. We'll see how that goes. So we're picking up in Chaplain Satrakian's office. It's bright and early, as far as you know, on the 2nd day of Neth. This is it. This is the last full day. The survivors will have the medicines they need to keep Loic calm, to help Bates with his seizures, Brenton with his anxiety, and Maeve with what sounds like it might be an extreme manic condition of some sort. Now, as I reflect back, I'm not entirely sure what adventure path y'all thought you were in when you seemed to assume you could just do a quick medicine fetch quest and everything would turn out fine. That is not this adventure path. This adventure path is trying to kill you and everyone you love.
Oops.
I don't remember exactly how Robert worded it a few chapters back, but basically, it's time to let the dream of more medicine die. So as you eye your plans and your resources today, I just want to stress that fact, which your characters would be very aware of. But let's get back to your intention to murder sentient beings with whom you had negotiated and nurtured a peace, shall we? How are y'all thinking you want to slaughter those ratlings?
Evil sentient beings.
You're putting quite a spin on...
Yes, I am doing a little editorializing.
It's not like that unicorn we killed.
You're right.
And we'll likely have to kill again.
And we'll probably have to
anytime
kill
we want to
again,
go out
yes.
into the courtyard.
Yeah, so I guess where in the moral
We're doing
spectrum does that
what we
fall?
have to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
As far as Gull is concerned,
Yeah.
those things were dead the moment they cast that fear spell on him. It's been that long.
Chapter 13.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All he was trying to do was go through their space, and they attacked him first.
That is certainly one way to look at it.
That is the way that Gull looks at it.
Reflect back on that fight. What did they do? They tried to scare you away, and then they summoned some creatures to put between you and them, and then when you left, they didn't pursue, which you all knew they were perfectly capable of doing. I'm just saying, I'm editorializing. Do what you wish. The consequences rain on your
We
heads.
have people in the chapel who cannot protect themselves, and we have no more scrolls to hand over. So,
Is that true, Paul?
We actually do have some more scrolls to hand over, but I don't know if we're willing to give them over.
How many scrolls do we have?
4.
what are they again?
2 of remove paralysis,
Yes?
and 2 cure light wounds.
Yeah, I don't think we want to give those to those little bastards.
We're also stuck in a dream dimension that we can't get out of unless we get past the ratlings. So, I mean, fuck those things.
I do believe that when the ratlings run out of paper to eat, the children might be next.
Okay. Awesome. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to murder them?
Well, we'll buff ourselves and kick down the shitter door, right?
Is that the
We
plan?
have thunderstones too, if we want to provide a distraction.
Johnny the player,
I've been carrying around 2 for about 3 years or something like that.
Wants to know if we could make another check, a knowledge check on these creatures, the ratlings.
Yes. Anybody that has, let's do it this way. Anybody who's put a rank in Knowledge Arcana since the first time we checked, which I think was probably level 2. So if you put one in level 3, give me a check.
17.
I wasn't able to make that roll before because I didn't have any ranks in it. I still don't have any ranks in it, but I can make a knowledge check on it now.
Oh yes, please do.
So I'm gonna try. That's a whopping 10.
Through the mists of your mind, you're not recalling any additional information about ratlings, but Dora is. So when she last made that check, she knew that they had a bunch of spell-like abilities, and we have seen some examples of some of those in play. We've seen the Cause Fear that Johnny referenced. We already knew about the Dimension Door. We've seen them summon a rat swarm. You also know that they have the ability to cast invisibility as a spell-like ability, and that they are constantly under the effect of spider climb. I think all these things you've seen in play, so let me give you this. They all are kind of like first-level rogues. They all have the ability to do sneak attack. 1d6.
Have we seen how many there are other than Rash?
4. 3 other
Total
than
of
Rash.
4. Ratch, and then there was the 3 ones that you originally encountered, which seemed to be one that hung by himself and a male and a female one that sort of nested together.
They're likely to focus on me.
And you actually, you've been hanging out with them in the library for a few days, so you would know their names by now. Let's see, they are...
Trying to make
They
it
have
harder for us
names?
to kill
Yes,
them.
yes. So the woman is Jenny Two Tails, named for her 2-foot-long tail, which splits halfway down, forming 2 lashing rodent tails. There is Benji Baldbelly, named for his large and hairless paunch. And then the last guy, the one that hangs by himself, kind of smells overpoweringly like wet dog. So of course his name is Horse Piss. Jenny Two Tails, Benji Baldbelly, and Horse Piss. They all have interests and dreams, plans for a life in the future, hopes, discoveries.
This is working. I just want you to know.
Well, I would hope that the one person I believe in the party with a good alignment written on their sheet, it might be
Yes.
working on.
It is. I don't want to fight them. I wasn't in a position to be very diplomatic yesterday afternoon. But it may be that they're bluffing or inflating their power and position in order to scare us to get what they want. The fact is, we are all trapped here. But of course, they do need to eat.
Yeah, and they're just as likely to eat your face, according to him.
It's true.
Yes, I understand.
It's true.
Desperate creatures do desperate things. Evil creatures do evil things. We know they're evil, right? Is that knowledge check high enough to know that they're evil, or are they neutral?
They would typically be evil. And you do know, that first check also involved, you do know, as a species, their typical practice is to steal babies and eat them. They're known for lots of bad stuff. But not all of them live in a library. Who knows?
What are you saying?
Maybe they've come across some extra knowledge. Maybe they've turned a corner and
Have they
the
eaten
light of
any-
neutrality is
They're
shining on
enlightened
them. Yeah. Maybe
Ratlings?
that's what I'm
Is that what
suggesting.
you're trying to
I'm just being
imply?
a dick here.
Maybe they ate a Dao De Jing. Who knows?
Exactly. Maybe the other 3 saw Ratchmanby be a dick yesterday, and they were like, "We're not going to take that anymore," and they took him down.
And this is actually Gulliver's thought, is, maybe we could, offer them a scroll or 2 to turn on him. So we gang up on him. How would one of you like to be boss?
But that still involves losing a scroll that is very valuable, and we're gonna need. Because one of us is gonna get paralyzed again, and let's face it, it's probably gonna be me.
When we encountered them in the library before, there was Didn't they burrow through the wall into a neighboring office or something?
There is a hole through the wall on the north side of the room next to the door that goes up towards Lissandro's office. That hole leads into what I've been calling the room with the hole in it. That giant chasm down that looks like it could fit creatures their size or like dire rat sized. There is a clear path for creatures their size to get through the library and into the whole room.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way for us to come at them from the other direction or to bypass them is to go outside in the visitors center, yes?
You could go out the visitors center across to admitting and come back up from the north, yeah. But you'd be risking the travel outside.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But now having been at admitting, you would have a better sense. You had 0 sense of how close those two rooms were the first time you encountered them. You would guess you're only looking at probably a distance to travel of maybe 25 feet or so. It's very close.
It's always just more than the concealment.
Well, and so out the front, that was the brutal fog. Can't see more than 5 feet in front of you. That's the nasty stuff.
Whatever we decide to do, Grip, I need your help with something.
Wait, what's that?
Well, it occurs to me that if we are going to do battle with these ratlings, it may be better for me to let Tima have her way. However, I cannot risk Reynard again. So, Dora would like to jerry-rig some kind of foxbjorn that leaves her arm holding Reynard against her chest,
Yeah.
but is tied in the back and would take at least a full round action for her to dismantle it herself.
So Tima couldn't casually and cruelly just drop the fox.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
It would also leave Dora one-handed, but she is anyway.
She is effectively anyways based on how we've decided to rule
So
this.
basically she's leaving Tima one-handed.
Yeah.
But Tima doesn't use weapons or
No, she does not.
or somatic components, so
That sounds a little bit like a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, it kind of does.
well,
So maybe Gull ties it, or you don't want that to happen, no?
after the conversation we just had,
Oh, yes.
she would prefer strength to a knot she can't pull.
I love it. Robert,
The
give me
other.
a strength check for our buddy.
17.
Very good. Reynard, or the fox you're calling Reynard, is strapped to you now in a lovely patient gown, Bjorn.
The other thing, while that's happening, I wanted to ask is if it was possible, now that she's had some time and rest
Yeah.
and isn't in a state of panic, is it possible to make a knowledge check on the Tatterman based on the psychometry reading that she saw?
So I would not give you a check to learn more about his capabilities because you still haven't really seen him in the flesh aside from like an arm sticking out. But I would take a history check now that you've got...
Any bonus there for the research, 3 days of research on the Briarstone Witch and stuff? Knowing that...
Clever girl. Sure, take a 2.
Oh, 26.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, some old stories about the Tatterman are starting to fall into place in Dora's brain. And you know that he is thousands of years old. Thousands. And as the various pre-existing empires fell, the Tatterman was largely forgotten, but his legend was recalled by this woman that the region began calling the Briarstone Witch. She heard of him, heard of his past reigns of terror, and she was the one who sort of resurrected him from obscurity. He's a servant of the King in Yellow. He's known as a dream hunter. Now, the Tatterman exists on the plane of dreams. That is where he lives. But it was this Briarstone Witch who discovered rituals that were able to bring him forth in the flesh onto this plane, where he was incredibly, incredibly dangerous. But she was only able to do so for very, very brief periods of time. He is not an entity that is able to survive here, or these rituals at least were not able to keep him here for long. But she would summon him forth, he would march by her side, engage in killings, and was reportedly also involved in some way in this Briarstone vanishing that you learned a little bit about. And as you're pouring through these memories of the early days of the Briarstone Witch, like the early days of Thrushmoor, you're remembering that there was a name, a mortal name, applied to the Briarstone Witch, and that was Ariadne. Mother Ariadne, they called her. And she sat in council with some of the other town leaders, Father Gerda, Father Weavewood, and then a lightning bolt just goes off in Dora's head, Mother Xandalis. Apparently one of the town elders when the town was originally first founded may have been a long-distant relative to Oliver Xandalis himself. But that's about it. He's known for his dream haunting and for Ariadne's ability to bring him forth onto the plane.
Do you think Horsepiss knows more about the Tatterman, that we could interrogate Horsepiss maybe and learn some more?
You're gonna grab him by the scruff of his little neck and shake him until he complies?
Or maybe a bluff check.
Oh.
Bluff him into sharing secrets.
Your guess is as good as mine as to what Horsepiss knows.
They all speak Aklo only, yeah.
Oh, then there's nothing I can do to... It was really...
You have only heard them speaking Aklo
Right.
to each other, and then you've heard Ratchmanby speak Abyssal to you. That's been the sort of ongoing thing.
Right.
But it should be pretty clear by this point that the way most of those interactions ended, he clearly seemed to be understanding what you were all saying to
Okay.
each other.
Good.
So whether they speak those languages or not, it seems at least that Ratch can process, has comprehension
So
of their
that's good
languages.
to know.
The only thing that concerns me about killing the fucking rat is the cause fear. That's why I thought about using that potion, but then I feel like that would probably be better used. That potion of protection from evil, but that might be better used to the folks upstairs.
When Grip says this, it's like Ray does almost like a double take. Wait a second. I think I have something that can help with that. And he takes out a wand that you haven't seen since yesterday?
15 episodes.
Chapter 14. No, it's been 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe this. Yes, I know. This wand. This can help with that.
A little bit.
A little bit.
What does it do?
It gives us a +1 morale bonus on fear effects.
And to attack.
And to
And
attacks.
to attacks.
That's no small thing.
Yeah. Like, what is it? Every ally within a 50-foot burst gets +1 no attack and +1 on saves versus fear.
And you've got the cloak now.
I do have the cloak, that's true.
So you're up to +3.
And there is that talisman floating around if there
Yes.
wanted to be a swapping around of next slot stuff.
Oh, what's the talisman?
The talisman of... Lesser talisman of warrior's courage. It makes you shaken instead of frightened, the first time you get the condition. I have...
That's pretty big, so that is -2 versus
Running away.
Yeah.
I have a reason to believe that Timo won't be affected by the Ratlings' games in that arena. So, if you'd like to trade...
Yeah, so then it's that 1 point of armor class.
Yeah.
Or, that's tricky.
Yeah.
But from things that specifically are able to cast fear.
I don't know.
You think about it.
I'll think about it.
Well, I can definitely use the wand on us all.
How long does that last?
Like a minute, right?
Each ally gains a +1 morale bonus on attack rolls, save versus fear effects for 1 minute.
1 minute.
And then once you... Let's say I were to fail such a save. Do you try every round, or is it just you're afraid for the duration of the spell, period?
The thing that happened to Gull,
It was like 3 rounds or something.
it seemed to be a short duration but no resave. So it was probably something you would guess at this point. You're all getting smarter about magic now. You could probably safely assume it's something like a 1d4 rounds, but once you fail, you fail.
Yeah.
Versus like an ever ongoing thing that you can keep trying at.
All right, I'm gonna keep the armor class for now, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
She says with side eye.
Yes,
with
she really did.
serious
I'm the
side
only
eye.
one who really doesn't need this.
Anybody else not using an X slot? Are you using one, Ray?
I would take it. Yeah,
Great.
thank you.
So for the moment, you can decide if you want to give it back after this fight, but for the moment, you've got this one-use fear protection, and we'll...
And you have the greater talisman of beneficial winds, which is a once per day featherfall.
Gulliver will start mixing up some extracts for himself.
Yeah,
Tora
And-
will cast mage armor on herself.
done.
And as you see him mixing them, he's wincing through the bloody bandages on his chest and shoulder from the 2 gore wounds.
Why don't you remind us just how low you are in hit points still, even
I'm
after
at
a full night's rest?
14 out of 23.
That is something that Ray would certainly observe, should he care to do anything about it. Although since we've become murderers now, maybe he's just like,
no.
whatever.
Right,
Actually-
we've rested, so we're back to a full day's worth of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Actually, Gull probably, because the other one was last night, so when he gets up this morning, he probably would have treated his own wounds.
Today. Okay.
Today.
Give me that check.
Do a real quick check.
Dora's gonna wait till right before we leave
Nice.
to cast
That's
that
a
spell.
27.
You heal 3 plus your wisdom modifier.
So I'm up to 19 out of 23, so not as bad.
I'm going to cast a Cure Light Wounds on you.
Zoom.
I'm back to full. Probably.
Yeah.
I think you can avoid it.
Everybody's feeling hale, hearty,
Yep.
ready for
Hail
some
as I get.
light murder.
Stop it.
Preventative. It's preventative homicide.
I understand. Sometimes we must act to kill people before they might potentially, possibly kill us.
He's threatened on several occasions.
It's true. Any other discussion you want to have inside the office here before you head over to the library?
Gull says that he could go in ahead, again blended, to
Sure.
get into a place to possibly get a surprise round. Gull thinks that you should come in and go, here is your scroll for our passage. We're prepaying it now, and wait for Ratchmanby to come down, and when he comes down to take it, you break his neck.
Probably someone other than me to try and hand up that scroll.
I'll do it.
All eyes go to the...
And I am gonna before we walk in, I'm gonna save the protection from evil potion, but I am gonna drink the bull's strength.
Ooh, nice.
Which will put my strength at 20.
Sweet.
Ooh.
And right before we go in as well, we'll do the casting from the wand, so you'll all get a +1 to attack and a +1 save versus fear.
And then we're going to have Gull do a little sneak over first, and then you guys will just delay a minute or something like that. Is that the idea?
Not a minute.
Or however long you would
Yeah,
decide.
yeah. I mean, probably maybe 12, 15,
Give him enough time to go around the corner and get settled?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple rounds, you're thinking.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, we heading that way?
Yep.
Ray, you open the door to the office, and you see Maeve standing right there, staring at you as though she's just been staring in front of that door, totally bored. She's got her tiara on, and she's holding a piece of paper. And you've spent some time with Tolman and the kids in there, and you know they didn't have an abundance of paper upon which to scrawl and doodle. So what they've been doing is they took all of the pens and ink and stuff out of the chaplain's desk, and they've been, one at page at a time, ripping pages out of his holy books to draw and color on. So she's holding one of those kind of pages, sort of folded in half, and she's staring up at you like,
What is it, Maeve? You're obviously upset.
you are all so boring. What are you doing?
We're planning our next adventure. What are you doing?
Mr. Tolman said I had to give this to you because he thought you would appreciate it. So,
May I see it?
fine. She just drops on the floor in front of you.
Maeve, tone.
You open it up. It's a page out of a Phrasman holy book. And you've also observed that Maeve is a very excellent artist. And as you open this single piece of folded paper up, you see drawn in black charcoal. Very simply, sort of a line drawing of a rose. And then down on the little lower right corner, you see a little, in pencil, something scrawled in Tolman's handwriting. And it says, "Ask Maeve what she told me."
Maeve, this is beautiful.
I know.
Well, what did you tell Tolman about this? What does this mean?
What?
Tolman said you might have told something to him about this picture. Is there something that you can tell me?
About this picture? No.
Yeah. What? What is it?
Okay. So, the other day when the thing that we're not supposed to know about happened and everybody died in the other room, and you were in here hugging Tolman, and it was really boring. When you stood up, what I told Tolman was that I know who you are.
What do you mean, you know who I am?
Well, you're the angel I saw.
When did you see me?
I don't know, a couple weeks ago? Whatever. You're boring. And she skips off into the chapel.
Maeve.
What?
Maeve.
What?
What do you mean, angel?
I saw you.
Saw me do what?
You were flying through the air. And you were all glowing.
And you're sure it was me?
Well, you've got an ugly face. I would not forget your face.
Is there anything else that you can tell me about what you remember about me, Maeve? Why the
I can
rose?
tell you that Bates says I was dreaming and that it's all nonsense.
What's the rose?
I like roses.
I like you.
Boring. She runs off.
It's the symbol of Shaylin, is it not?
The angel.
No, the rose.
Yeah, I got that part. The thing about this, this is a little meta, just commentary here for a sec. Bear with me. But the thing about the class, right, is that you're not sure where these powers come from.
Yeah.
Playing this character who's so unsure and has a dark history that he doesn't know about makes all these signs pointing to Shaylin to be so antithetical to what he feels he's discovering about himself. So the dichotomy between, who do I want to be? I want to be a good person. Shaylin, there seems to be some connection here. All signs point to Shaylin, but I have to do some really horrible shit, and I probably did some horrible shit in my past. So where do my powers come from? I don't know. I'm not convinced that I'm a priest of Shaylin.
Yeah?
Perhaps this is a second chance?
Maybe.
And if you're a cleric in this world, all of your power and your relationship to a god are one. They're tied together.
Right.
For an oracle, you have your power, and then you may or may not have a relationship with one or more gods. They may be entirely separate paths, and they may be connected, unknown.
In the psychometry vision on the Morning Star, we saw Ray
Yes.
in an office.
Restaurant, wasn't
No,
it?
it was a restaurant. It was a club.
Was there anything on his person that indicated he was a priest dedicated to a particular god? I know they talked about things, and there's things to be gleaned from the way he thought about himself. Not Ray, but the other gentleman whose name I can't remember.
Christoph Van
Matthew
Horten
Modine.
or something.
Yeah.
Man.
And I can't quite remember, but I think the impression that I got from it was that it was... My first instinct was that they were talking about Dubraul, because Ray was so creepy in it. But then you clarified for me that Dubraul has been Zon Kuthan for longer than that.
Yes.
Makes sense. And so my next assumption was that they were referring to Shaylin, and the way they talked about the way they worshipped the god. But is that
Zon
not...
Kuthan is a god of beauty.
He
too.
was.
He was.
No, he is.
Well, the beauty
Oh,
of
well then.
pain. the beauty of
Yeah.
Agony.
Okay.
agony and torture.
The beauty of torture.
So then that is the thing that makes that whole picture come together in Dora's mind.
Yeah, I like that. You should feel pretty comfortable feeling that you saw Ray in that vision as somebody that Christoph Van Horten considered to be a priest of Zon-Kuthon.
And the power to sustain life through torture, so that torture may go on.
You remember all those tubes of black sludge keeping you alive
And the
in that
joy making.
for eternity.
Angels, however.
Kids, they're just silly sometimes.
Yeah, probably this is all meaningless. Just a big waste of airspace.
Thanks, Dora.
To the library?
Let's do it. Let's go kill some rats.
All right. Everybody got any buffing taken care of on their sheet and noted down that they want to do? I understand the timing of when it's going to
Yes.
happen, and feel free to have that timing happen. You're not going to be molested between the barricade and the library.
No more tumor infestation in the hall.
No, things are pretty quiet in the hall at the moment. So you all pass Faustin and Denman with crossbows at the eastern barricade, and Nasa is there, sans crossbow, but holding a torch up. The three of them there at the barricade. Let's see, you left. Maeve just ran back into the chapel, and you do see the cluster of Erwin, Jared, and Danae up at their post, the north barricade. So everyone's in their groups of minimum three. Three of you who are not Gull step over the barricade, and there's this nice, convenient big pile of rubble where the staircase up to the second floor had fallen in on itself. Very easy to just edge behind that and get yourselves to be able to start in a position of not being seen in the library. As Gull is going to head in, that's the idea.
Yep.
Remind me how Blend works.
Change the coloration of yourself and your equipment to match that of your surroundings, granting you a +4 circumstance bonus on stealth checks, and allows you to make stealth checks without cover or concealment, but only while you move no more than half your base speed on your turn.
So good.
If you make an attack, this spell ends
Fantastic.
immediately.
Give me a stealth check as you start sneaking your way into the room.
I shall do so. Oh, with a natural 2. But that's still going to be a 16. No, 17.
Using any
17?
shame or any other multiple points that you have?
I'm going to use a little inspiration on this, I think.
Okay.
That is a 19.
Okay. Well, okay. You sneak your way through that southern door of the library, and things are largely as you recall them being in the recent stretch of days. Ratch Manby is perched on the topmost, on the top of the shelves on the northern wall, directly opposite the door as you enter, and you can see him there, Johnny, with the yellow base. Horse Piss is about halfway up the height of the bookshelf, so about kind of like waist height or so, halfway up the eastern wall, the wall on the right side as you're entering. And then Jenny and Benji are a little closer to the top, maybe like one shelf down in the sort of northwest corner of the room, so on your left and almost as far away as Ratch is as you enter. And as you make your way through that, partially cracked open door, you edge right through, you look around a little bit, none of them seem to notice you. They're going about their business, chewing on stuff, muttering to themselves. Ratch is probably fussing with his little vest, making sure it's all neat, like a civilized being would.
It's like a scene out of Neverwhere.
It really is. It really is. Hold that thought.
Excellent. I will start to make my way into the library, and I will try to move about halfway up to give myself some space and also to sort of see where the party comes and goes.
Did you take one of my thunderstones?
I did.
This side.
Sure.
And you said about 2 rounds? You wanted to have about 2 rounds? All right, so you can make another move up the...
Move a little bit closer, but I want to be close enough that I have a touch attack.
Well, so Gull edges then to his left towards the center of the room. He's now standing between the northmost table and the center table on the east side of it. Very close, just 5, 10, 15 feet away from Horsepiss, who still seems not to notice him. And Ratch and the other two are in easy view. That's about the amount of time he told you guys to wait. What do you want to do?
So, I'll go in behind you two.
And I've got is it a real scroll or are we using a dummy?
Let's use a dummy.
Yes, all right. I have Red Destiny sheathed.
Okay.
And then when we get in, I'll just say, Ratch, we've got your fucking scroll for the day.
What kind is it?
It's a cure light wounds.
Light ones?
Yes.
That will do.
All right, well, come fucking get it then.
Bring it to me.
All right,
Heading up the room.
I'll go to there.
All right, so Grip edges up to about 10, 15 feet away from Ratch. They're now moving past where Gull is, and Gull is very cunningly blended into the tables.
When they do that, Gull is going to move in front of them. So he's going to proceed and go, yeah.
Dora will stay back.
Give me a new stealth check, Johnny.
I shall do so.
She'll enter the room, but yeah.
18 plus 15,
33.
33.
Great. Nice. Probably with that, I'm guessing even the other members of the party aren't, like, with a 33, like, he's just a ghost slipping through the space there. Nobody seems to be seeing him moving. So it looks like, Gull is now ending up at the base of the northern bookshelves next to the door and about 10 feet away from Ratchmanby, although Ratchmanby is on top of the bookshelves.
So he's how high up?
10 feet up.
I'm very frightened.
I got a thing I'm gonna try once. I'm gonna use something you've never seen me do before.
my
Oh,
So all right, well, so I'll stop there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do you want it or do you not?
he leaps onto the wall.
Is this the first time that he's talking in common?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He is speaking in Taldane. Well noted. Ratchmanby leaps onto the wall, climbs up to the ceiling, makes his way over. He does the same move he did last time, and he comes down, after dropping down the light fixture, onto the sort of middle of the northernmost table, very, very close to Gull, very close to Grip, and very close to Ray.
Once he gets, I guess where he is, 10 feet away, I'm gonna make use of the pugnacious trait, where once per day, I, as an immediate action, can increase my melee reach by 5 feet.
And what are you doing with that melee action?
I'm gonna pound his little rat ass into the table.
We're all blessed, right?
Everybody's blessed.
So you get a +1.
Here
So,
we go. This is
I
our
get-
surprise round.
Come on.
That's a 9 on the die for a 19.
Jeez.
I'm gonna shame it.
Might be flat-footed.
Oh, that's true.
Ratchmanby is flat-footed.
I'm gonna save the shame. 19.
Hit. From 10 feet away, punching Ratch.
Dora goes, oh.
Oh my.
For 10 points of damage.
Fist soars through the air, goes longer than a humanoid should be able to reach, slams into his chest for 10 points of damage. He sort of bends backwards, kind of Matrix style, and comes back up with fury in his eyes, as presumably Gull takes a shot.
Boom. That's another 19 flat-footed, which I assume will
That is a hit.
hit.
You just shot Ratchmanby.
Shooting him?
Oh,
So
yeah.
You shoot touch?
Yeah. For 3 points of damage.
Grazing wound with the bullet from the alchemical torch. Let's roll initiative.
Is this the first time they've seen the torch go off?
Think so. Well, they wouldn't even have seen it this time. They just would have felt it, but they wouldn't have seen it.
Maybe the others will just surrender when their leader goes
Maybe they've
down.
been waiting for someone to take him down.
Grip.
10.
I might just offer that out there.
Gull.
16.
Ray.
17.
Dora.
17.
Who's got the dex there? Ray?
I have
do.
a +2.
Oh, I also have a +2.
Roll it off.
I mean, I'll seed it.
Okay, great.
If you do something you can't forgive yourself for later, nothing by me.
It'll just be another day for Ray if that's the case.
I mean, you're not wearing a phylactery.
Yeah.
Who knows?
What does it matter?
Who's to say what's right and wrong?
Well,
This new Ray the Pragmatist, I'm a big fan of. Like father, like son.
All right, so Ratch is just coming back up after getting punched in the chest, turns, just must have caught a whisper of movement from you, Gull, as he just edges sideways slightly enough for the bullet to kind of like go right through his right side rather than into his organs.
Oh, his waistcoat.
His vest is now bloodied. He looks at you and he says,
You don't want to do this, Gull. You do this. This is war.
Does Gull say anything?
Gull just grins at him.
What happens next is on your head.
He disappears. Up in the northwest corner of the room, Jenny Two Tails disappears. On the east wall of the room, Horse Piss disappears. Ray, you're up. The only one that's left in the room that you can see is Benji Baldbelly. Give me a spellcraft check.
Yeah. It's a 19.
So far, they have all used Dimension Door.
Ray runs around the table towards the north exit.
All right, get between Grip and Gull there.
Actually, I'm going to do a double move.
Great. Oh, you're heading to the north door of the library.
Yep.
Gotcha. That's a double move right there.
Yep.
Gets you to those doors.
Yep.
And they have not been latched as you've come and gone most recently, so not even really in action. You can kind of push them open. Got a little spread of light there. You don't see anybody immediately in the hallway in front of you.
Okay.
Dora, you're up.
Dora's gonna get the fuck away from that door and move 30 feet into the room.
Moving over to the east wall, trying to get yourself as far away from Benji Baldbelly, the one remaining ratling as she can.
Did you let us know they all left rather than turning invisible?
Yes, I did.
Then she'll say in Abyssal,
Yeah.
Benji Baldbelly, this is your opportunity to suffer no more from the abusive treatment from Ratch Mamby. We can come to a truce. You leave us be while we see about freeing this entire isle from the plane of dreams, and no one need get hurt further.
Are you trying to intimidate or be diplomatic? That
Diplomatic.
Sounded...
I mean, they're evil creatures and smart. I'm laying out no one gets hurt.
Okay.
We're helping the whole place.
Give me that check.
25.
Any shame or anything?
No. I'm gonna need it later, I think.
Yeah, you are. Benji just rubs a greasy hand over his huge bulbous belly and grins with these really, truly awful teeth.
Great. Was that an action?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's worked, she says to the others.
Gulliver, you're up.
Gull will load, and how far away am I from
5,
Benji?
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, plus 10. Let's call it 35 feet.
Then he will load his weapon as a move action and swallow another extract as a standard action.
What happens?
All of a sudden you see the bits of dust and stuff in the air striking around him as his shield activates.
Fantastic. Benji Baldbelly vanishes. Grip, you're up. Last to go in round 1.
Huh. Maybe we should reload this game.
That's what I would do. If I
From
was-
last save point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grip probably doesn't know, so maybe I shouldn't know. But do we know how far away Dimension Door can get someone?
I think that conversation came up before. You would know hundreds and hundreds of feet is what Grip would understand. He might not understand medium or long range, but he would know many hundreds of feet.
And see,
Oh, shit.
I'm remembering something you...
Katie just got it.
Yep. Oh no, I got it a while ago,
Yep.
Fuck.
but that's only because you told us something out of game.
Is it still my turn?
No. Benji has... Gull is gone, Benji's gone, and it's now Grip's turn.
Should we run back to the chapel?
All right, Grip's getting a bad feeling about this.
Yeah,
We'll call this episode Remorse.
Yes, done and done.
he was just so mean to us. I think we better go back to the chapel, and I take off.
Yeah. All right, so let's get this out in the open now. The battle for the chapel survivors, it has begun. I'm gonna hand out cards. Each of you is gonna be playing 3 of the survivors as the battle is now moving into the chapel area. I'm gonna give you Denman, Erwin, and Brenton to take a look over. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I've highlighted, each of them kind of has basically one feat that is unusual or potentially useful, so I've tried to highlight that. Paul, you're gonna play Tolman, Vouston, and Loic. Loic can't really act. If something's happening super close to him, he's going to have the confused condition. Johnny, you've got Nasa, Bates, and Danae. And
Let me guess who I am.
yeah, that's all down to Johnny. Mira, Jared, and Maeve. Katie.
So boring.
While you all are taking a second here to process what you have and the capabilities of the people that you're playing, Katie, start with Maeve. So we had a
Wait, I'm sorry. What are you asking?
So we had a realization a few weeks back that just tracking of inventory wise, 2 flasks of alchemist fire that the party had possession of at some point 15 chapters ago disappeared off of everybody's sheets. And normally I would be like, oh, tough luck, you guys lost it. But I thought it would be fun to come up with a game reason what had happened to them. Maeve stole them from Gull while he was very sick. Maeve has 2 flasks of
That's
alchemist
awesome.
fire.
Great.
That's so awesome.
Everybody else able to make sense of what their folks do?
What's combat reflexes? Can you remind me, please?
That means that Vouston
Yeah.
can take a number of attacks of opportunity per round equal to the dexterity modifier. So you might be able to take an extra 1 or maybe an extra 2 or something.
Sure. Yeah.
You gotta get initiative for all of these people. Let's start with Robert's 3 folks.
First is Brenton. I keep rolling 6-sided die for initiative. That's not how it works.
Don't do that.
There we go. A whopping 7 for Brenton.
Okay. Next.
A 21, natural 20 for Erwin.
Nice.
And an 11 for Denman.
Katie.
Jared is 19. Mura is 11. Maeve, 5.
Johnny.
Danae is a 11. Nasa is a 16. Bates is a 23.
Nice. And Polly.
Tolman is 4. Loic is 22.
Great. Good for him.
Voston's, that's a 21.
Very good.
How could we not want to kill them after what you told us?
He's just messing with us. There's no right answer. Don't buy into this.
Don't forget, we're in a horror campaign.
I know.
It's going to be a
Everything is
bad
awful.
choice and a worse choice and a shit choice.
And
trying
they're
to keep
all
the
gonna
pressure on.
they're all gonna look like shit choices all the time.
Degrees of difference between those choices are irrelevant.
On the bright side, if enough of the survivors die, then some of that medicine can be shared out, and
Wow.
it'll last a little longer.
Wow.
That's
That is
You
some
have to be
lawful
pragmatic
evil way
about
of
these
looking.
things.
that is the pragmatic approach.
I successfully moved myself further away from the chapel.
Victory!
I will be
Yeah,
the
me
last
too.
one. Yeah, that's great. Be there just in time to heal, hopefully, somebody. Rather
Yeah,
die.
get in there and channel the shit out of everything. Maybe another bless too. On the chapel survivors.
Oh, that's a great point. Denman, Vouston, and Nasa would have been within 50 feet of the time that was cast, so give them bless.
None of my guys.
Let's call it there's 5 rounds left of bless.
Okay, 5 rounds.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is going to be a grand experiment. This will be fun. All right, Katie, you have some questions for me.
Yes. What is throw anything? And is it already factored into the sheet?
It's already factored into
Okay.
any rolls. It basically means that she doesn't suffer any penalty for using improvised ranged weapons.
Great.
And she also gets an extra bonus when she throws a splash weapon.
Oh, to hit. An
To
extra
hit,
bonus.
not to
Okay,
damage,
great,
just
great,
to
great.
hit.
What if if I do 1d2 minus 2 damage,
Oh,
I just can't hit it. I can't damage anything.
if damage because of penalties and everything
Yeah.
ever results to a
Is it always
number
minimum
below
1?
0, it's minimum 1 non-lethal damage.
Great.
So as we start the top of round 2 here, at the moment, nobody in the chapel, none of the chapel survivors know that they're in danger. However, we are dropping them into initiative because they have heard the gun go off. They know that there is a fight happening. So they don't think of themselves as in physical danger yet, but they are keyed in and alert. Yes, Katie?
Is there any bonuses we need to know about from being in the chapel?
Thank you. I'm so glad you remembered. Because this is the piece I forgot with the Mr. Gabriel fight. The entire interior of the chapel is under the benefits of a Hallow spell. +2 deflection bonus to AC and +2 resistance bonus on saves for everyone in there against attacks made or effects created by evil creatures.
Wow.
+2 deflection and +2.
Resistance to
Resistance.
saves.
That is great. That
I-
is not
and I-
factored into our sheets.
That is not factored into the
Okay.
sheets because some of you are not in the chapel, and I didn't know what might happen here.
All my folks are in the chapel,
Yeah.
I think.
But I think as a table, because I also completely forgot the last time we were in there, feel free to just call it out if like someone's getting attacked,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hello, let's help each other remember there. Everyone is also protected from mental control should that become an issue. Someone
man.
tries to charm or dominate. I'll look up what the exact wording
Oh.
is. And evil summoned creatures can't, it's hard for them to make bodily contact with things, but you do know
They summon rats.
They summon
ones,
rats,
which are
so,
neutral.
yeah,
Has Tima ever manifested in the chapel?
Yeah, we talked about this like a year ago, didn't
Yeah.
we?
I don't think she has.
I don't think you've had her try to.
Yeah. Okay, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
In case it comes
I
up.
think Dora's experience would not be noticing any super different, like, it's not like she's way further in the
Right,
back
right.
in there.
Presence remains consistent.
Yeah, not so she hasn't noticed anything.
Okay.
So that maybe what's happening with Tima may intersect with some of those kind of rules in a different way.
So the ratlings are protected from that as well.
Yes, if they're in the chapel. Anybody in the
even
chapel.
if they're evil.
Yes,
And I don't know what Tima's
I know what
alignment is.
Tima's alignment is.
great. Okay.
I'll just say
Sorry.
it is evil.
Yeah, I'm sure it's evil. I just don't have it on a sheet anywhere.
Let's just put it.
Changes Dora's tactics.
Yeah, she's neutral
in this
evil
fight.
when she's in front.
Great to know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, so round 2 is going to begin with Bates. Bates is back in the chapel. Bates doesn't know anything in particular is happening, but he hears a gunshot. Is that you, Johnny?
Yes. Alchemical torch.
Does he get his out?
He totally pulls out his little alchemical
Does he have
torch.
bluff?
Absolutely.
Could he use it to
He
scare
he
Rex
totally
Manby?
pulls out his alchemical torch.
Awesome. Fantastic.
And then he points it at the air and goes, bang.
He is huddled in the northwest corner of the chapel with the other kids and with Tolman. Loic is next. He's on the southern edge of the chapel. He's probably just staring off into space there, right, Polly?
Yeah. Yeah.
At the moment. Okay.
I knew I was nervous for a reason.
So who is... This would be something that... Okay, so Gull and Ray and Dora, who are still in the library, hear quite clearly through the board hole from the library to the room with the hole in it. You hear the sound of Rash Manby going,
Master Longtail, Lady Whiskers, kill them!
They sound cute. Lady Whiskers.
Master Longtail. That is from Neverwhere, is it not?
as is Lady Whiskers. Yeah.
So that's 5 ratlings in addition to Rash. Yeah? The 3 named ones from the library, now 2 other named ones.
Oh, so in response to, and I guess, so the two of you wouldn't understand because this would be called out in Aglo. So Dora understands what he's saying, and then you hear a scampering of clawed feet and a sound of things hustling through the hole, and bursting out of the hole from the north are 2 dire rats.
Great.
I'm going to call number 1 Lady Whiskers, number 2 is Master Longtail. Gull is standing with a ranged weapon. All they can do is they got to take a double move to get into position. No attack of opportunity from Gull, but they can't make an attack this round. Give me perception checks for Danae, Jared, and Erwin.
10 for Erwin.
Okay.
14 for Jared.
10 for Danae.
Okay. Jared hears the muted sound of spell casting maybe 50, 60 feet to the north, up towards the laundry, way out of the range of the lantern light. And so there's not anything that he can see, but he hears the sound of spell casting happening up there in a feminine voice.
It's Jenny.
Faustin. So Faustin is standing at the east barricade. He can see Grip running out of the library towards him.
Oh, what is it? What's happening?
I love it.
It's the Ratlins. I fear they're coming to attack people in the chapel.
Oh, what did you do?
Now's not the time for recriminations like that. Just prepare yourselves, there's going to be trouble.
All right, so Faustin wants to back up all of us to the chapel doors.
Just outside? Mm-hmm. Great.
And he's going to tell everyone, get into the chapel!
Fantastic. So Faustin is backing up. You'd have a standard action left. Do you want to ready a shot if an enemy appears in the hallway in front of you?
Yeah.
Great. Jared is up next. He's at the north barricade. He just heard the sounds of spellcasting up there.
He will do as ordered and get into the chapel.
Great. He can get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He can get inside, just inside the chapel with a single move.
Great. Then he will take up a position in a corner
Oh, okay.
so he can see the whole room.
Great.
He's the only one with an actual weapon, so...
He takes a double move and edges to the right to the alcove where the statue of Desna is, with his crossbow trained on the doorway.
Yeah, or... No, I mean, like, anywhere. He doesn't know. He just wants to be able to see the whole room.
Great. Ray, you are up. You are at the northern door of the library. Outside the door you're currently standing, there's another door 10 feet up to the north, which leads to the room you know Rachmambi is in.
Is the door to that room open?
The door to that room is closed at the moment.
And Gull is currently under attack with 2 dire rats directly behind him.
Gull is 5 feet away from you with 2 dire rats harassing him.
Okay, I'm going to touch Gull. Sorry.
Yes.
And cast Shield of Faith.
Nice. You had done, while you were playing around, I think it was back in chapter 6, as Ray was playing around with material components. The one spell you have that actually does require a specific one is Shield of Faith, and it does require prayers to a god. So you take out one of those prayers to Shaylin that you apparently wrote when you were a priest of Zon Kuthan.
Maybe.
And it burns to ash in your hands as you touch Gull, and he gets a +2 deflection bonus to his armor class.
Ooh.
That's a standard action. You can take a move if you wish.
I-
Let's bring light into this. There are enough torches and lanterns in the chapel area and the surrounding hallway that I'm not worried about vision there. But in the library, we're going to call it, well, as of now, I forgot for the first round, but we'll call it low light because we hadn't brought out crystals, we hadn't cast light, that kind of stuff. So there'll be a 20% mischance in there for those of you that don't have dark vision moving forward.
Good to know. Then I'm going to cross to the table opposite dire rat number 2 with a distance of like
Keeping your distance.
10
You want to
feet
get
between us.
Phil Fever again?
Not yet.
Fair enough. Dora, you are up. You are about halfway. You're like in the middle of the library where you're standing right now. The fight has moved elsewhere. You can see the 2 dire rats 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35 feet in front of you that are coming out to harass Gull.
I think she thinks she's of more use in the library, and having made the more use in the chapel rather, and having made the discovery that Grip made,
Yeah.
I think she's probably still reeling from that.
Yep.
So she's going to move a double move back toward the chapel.
Back towards the chapel. Great. Dora is able to make it about 15 feet past Grip, closer to the eastern barricade. Up next is Gull. Gull, you are 5 feet away from 2 dire rats. 2 rats the size of small dogs.
Gull is going to take a full withdrawal action, which I think allows me to double move, right?
It will allow you to double move, and as long as you move away from them, you will not suffer an attack of opportunity.
That is what I will do.
You're heading back to the chapel?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Great.
So let's see, we're here.
Yep.
Yeah, great. So Gull is able to make his way along the west wall, much of the way down to the southern door. Nasa is up. Where is Nasa? Nasa is holding a torch near the eastern barricade. She was instructed to get back into the chapel by Faustin.
Got a club and a torch. I've got
Nice.
both. So,
Nice.
so,
2 weapons a pirate.
That's
would
right.
favor.
The 2 greatest weapons a pirate nurse can have is her big heart and her club and her torch.
Yes.
And she's gonna move back into the chapel.
Grand.
Probably step to the side and wait for something to come through that she could hit.
Great. So she moves in. She moves down to the left, to the south there, by the shrine to Asmodeus, and she's holding her torch out like a pirate might.
And she yells, "Boarders oncoming!"
We're being boarded.
So dumb. Thank you. Thank you for that gift. Danae is up next. She's up near the northern barricade. She knows from Jared that something was heard to the north of her, and she's been instructed by Valston to get back towards the chapel.
Yep, she would absolutely go. Same thing where she's going to move into the chapel, and she sees is that Jared?
Jared,
Jared's
yeah.
in the
And she's going to do the same thing, kind of move to the opposite side, train her crossbow on the door. Not as a ready to action, but just
Fantastic. So Danae takes double move, gets through the doors, gets about 15 feet in, and spins back with her crossbow. So it's Danae, Nasa, and Jared near that door on the inside. Mura's up next. Mura is down near Loic, and I think she only has a torch, right?
Yeah.
Is that Katie?
She has a club.
A club and a torch, right. And for all those sheets, those of you that don't have a crossbow, I did give an attack roll for it. And
Yeah.
like that's assuming like they just pick up a rock or
Yeah.
something and throw it. Won't do much damage, but some of them are slightly more skilled than others at that.
She's going to get back against a wall, its closest wall, collect as many things she can throw as
Easily done.
possible.
You're in and amongst some of the bedrolls of the survivors there.
She's
Sort of
the one with precise shot, so
nice.
gonna make use of that.
Underneath the tall statue to Pharasma on that wall there, she is collecting ammunition. Denman is up next. He's the last one standing at the east barricade as Dora and Grip are racing towards it.
He'll take the. He was ordered back, so. 20, 25,
Who is
30.
he to argue?
He's gonna go to right here. It's a little better than a full move, and he will. He's
Great.
watching the door.
So he's moving in next to Jared on the inside of the room, and now we've got a whole cluster of folks on the inside with weapons trained on that door. Grip, you're up next. You're just outside the library. I'm going to do the barricade like I did it someplace else. If you succeed at an acrobatics check, you can go over it as part of a move. If you don't, it is a move action to get over it.
Okay.
Basically, a first move gets you right at the barricade.
That's a 14
Yeah,
for the
that's good.
acrobatics check.
So then it's basically 10 feet. It's like difficult terrain. So this is 10 feet here at this point.
Okay. That's a single move?
That's
Got me there?
that's
Or-
the first 10 feet of your second move.
Oh, okay. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Great. So Grip has made his way to the intersection of the hallway right next to Faustin outside the chapel.
He's in charging distance. Should anything ever appear in here.
Right.
Little Brenton with the shadow lantern is up. He's next to Bates. Who's playing Brenton? Yeah, he probably doesn't do anything at this point, I'm guessing.
Oh, I think he's probably very scattered, isn't he?
I think he probably is. Maeve, the little rascal who stole from Gull, is also there. And
Maeve would like to find something to hide behind that she can throw things from.
She could easily climb up onto the base of the statue of Pharasma and hide behind Pharasma's legs.
Would that give her higher ground?
which only applies in melee attacks.
It does?
Yeah.
With ranged attacks, having higher ground doesn't help?
No.
Whatever. She'll go there. Yep.
Yeah, so she's going to move up onto the statue of Pharasma.
Do you want me to make a hide check if it matters?
I would, thank you.
17.
Nice. And ending the round is Tolman.
Tolman sees what Maeve is doing. He's not comfortable with it, but he has to trust her. Right now, his main purpose is to protect the boys. He pulls out his club that he has and steps into position to be the first line in front of those boys.
That is the end of our second round for the battle for the chapel. Round 3 begins as Bless ticks down. There are 4 rounds remaining of Bless. First up is Bates. Anything he's going to do this round, or is he still hanging out?
I think Bates sees what Maeve did and is like, oh, yeah. And he's gonna, what can he pick up off the ground?
An improvised, it's up near where all the cooking stuff is, actually.
So he's gonna grab, like, whatever he can grab that he
Frying
thinks that
pan.
he could throw.
A couple of pans and
Exactly,
some,
some things like that. He's gonna grab as many, and literally he's sort of dodging around Tolman's legs and stuff, and he's like, yeah, and grabs his stuff, and then he's gonna clamber up onto another. Is there another place where he could hide, or could he do the same
He
thing?
could
and
do
hide?
the same thing. There
He
is
will
no
do
other
the
statue
exact
big
same
enough.
thing and sort of hide on the other side.
Great, give me a stealth check for him.
Great.
I remember his stats probably pretty good.
It is 20.
Nice.
Sweet.
Loic is up next. I'm betting he's probably still hanging at the moment. All right, what's Benchman we doing? Okay, who's still there? Ray, you hear the sound of spellcasting coming through the hole from the whole room to the north.
Yeah.
Master Longtail and Lady Whiskers are both going to move in and bite ya, Ray. They only have to move 10 feet forward. Here comes Lady Whiskers.
Mighty armor class.
4 probably misses, and a 7 misses. So the rats are just unable to penetrate your armor.
Did Erwin take a turn?
Oh, no.
Oh, where did Erwin?
She's still up there.
She was pretty high. She had a
She
21.
was. She actually,
Now, why would you want to do that?
She goes right after Loic, actually. Let's give her 2 turns here, because it might matter. Last round, she could easily get into the chapel.
So she probably would have gone, like, in here.
About halfway down, joining the crossbow brigade there.
Yeah.
Great. And then this round,
This round, she will actually ready an action
Nice.
to shoot anyone she doesn't know that comes through that door.
love it, love it, love it.
Grip comes through.
Faustin, you are up. Faustin, you're standing right outside of the door. You can also now make out the sound of spellcasting up to the north. And it does sound as though it moved closer.
What's the plan?
Looking over to Grip.
I think it's best for everyone to be inside the chapel. I'll stand out here and wait for the others to come join us. But I think we'll be safer in the chapel.
Faustin's been bit in the past, by which I mean if you lose track of someone, they sometimes come back as a doppelganger, right? So with that in mind, but trying to be diplomatic about it, Faustin will say, I'm not leaving you alone. And readies his light crossbow down the hall towards where the spellcasting is coming from.
To the north.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jared is up next. Jared is inside the door to the north there with a crossbow in hand. You want to ready as well?
Yeah.
Ray, you're up next. You're facing off with 2 dire rats.
Full withdraw and try and get out of the library.
Moving a lot slower than Gull is. You're only going to make it about halfway down the room there, right?
I made it to here.
Yeah. Well, I guess you started closer to the exit than he did. Dora, you're up.
Yeah.
You're making your way towards that barricade.
And I might have trouble getting over the barricade, so
Yep.
I will move to the barricade
Great.
and then
Give me an
attempt
acrobatics check.
to get over. 13.
All right, you're good. So you get over the barricade at the end of a first move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You're 25 feet away from the chapel doors.
Then I'll enter and say, they may appear anywhere.
It's so true. Gull, you're up. You're making your way back towards the chapel?
Yep.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. You can get right to the barricade.
Awesome. I'm there.
Nace, she's got a torch. She's ready to attack anybody that comes in.
Yes.
Aye, you mean.
Yar.
Arg. I'll make you walk the plank.
It's the yarest chapel in the land.
Danae, readying.
Yes.
Mura, gathering.
Readying anywhere.
Yep. Denman, same boat.
Aye.
Great.
I mean, yeah.
I'm assuming this cluster now by the entrance to the chapel are going to hold in a ready until something happens to start triggering that, and then we'll pop back in with check in with them again. Grip, you are up next. You can see now, just 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet away from you, Gull's on the other side of the barricade there.
Well, I don't want to go in until I know the four of us are back. So he'll also pull out his crossbow.
Yeah.
And ready in action to shoot anyone that is foe.
Pick a direction. You want to shoot east or north? Faustin's currently looking to the north.
Then I'll look east to cover
Both ways.
my companion's retreat.
Mad dash.
Excellent.
Chapel.
Brenton, I'm assuming is chilling. Holler if anything's different.
Yeah, he's scared. He's hiding
Yeah.
behind Tolman's robes.
Maeve wants to ready, I'm guessing.
Maeve, with the wicked grin,
Yeah.
draws one of the stolen alchemist's flasks and winks at Bates. This isn't boring.
Bates goes,
And then Tolman.
Tom will take a 5-foot step in front of Brenton.
Thank you, sir.
Trying to protect the children. And they
He's
keep
also
running
going
away.
to shout out, Bates, keep yourself hidden, for God's sake, or for Desna's sake,
Shaylin's sake.
for Shaylin's sake.
One of those gods.
One of them.
Fuck will keep you safe.
Someone in the Pantheon, just hide.
Round 4 begins. We've got 3 rounds left of Bless. Bates, readying, I'm guessing?
yep.
Loic, hanging out. Erwin, readying, holding a ready. All right, what happens here?
I know this is supposed to be really horrific, but I'm having so much fun
know,
right
this
now.
is
I
kind
just
of a
have to
blast.
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right up until
And now
this
it's
moment.
about to be horrific.
One person left in the library at this moment. This is Ray making his slow-ass way in his medium armor towards the chapel as from that hole to the north, thousands of rats swarm out of that hole and are
God,
here
they
right next
suck.
to the dire rats. Let's see how
They're
far they
summoned, though, right?
can move. They are summoned.
So they will
They will what?
disappear at some point.
Maybe they will. All right, so they take a double move to scramble underneath the north table, underneath the middle table, and they end up 5 scant feet away from Ray and
Get
can't quite
out.
get to him. As you're sort of dancing backwards as this humongous swarm of rats is approaching and like nipping at your ankles, you suddenly recoil in pain as 2 balls of magical energy blast out of nowhere and hit you for 7 points of damage. And Ratchmambi becomes visible
Sorry, Ray.
right at the very northern edge of the room there, having just crawled through the hole himself. Hit you with some magic missiles.
Great.
Master Longtail, Lady Whiskers. Lady Whiskers has to take a double move to threaten you, Ray, but Master Longtail gets you just at the end of a single move, takes a bite. 6, and misses. Come on, rats. You can kill them. I know you can.
Shut up.
Shut your stupid face.
Well, that's not good.
Swarm number 2.
Yeah, that's bad.
Appearing just on the southern side of the north barricade, 5, 10, 15, 20 feet away from Grip and Faustin, is another 10-foot by 10-foot wide swarm of thousands of rats. 5, 10, 15. They take a double move to get on top of them. Faustin and Grip are now completely covered head to toe with biting rats. They both had ranged weapons at hand, so they couldn't take an attack of opportunity. Any creature whose space they occupy at the end of their move automatically takes swarm damage. So both Faustin and Grip will take 6 points of damage, and I need a fortitude save from both of you.
26.
Great, you are not nauseated.
9.
All right, Faustin is nauseated for 1 round. You want to hand that card out, Katie? Faustin, you are up. You are covered head to toe with rats. What does the nauseated condition give you?
I'm unable to attack, cast spells, concentrate, or do anything else requiring attention. The only action I can do is a single move action per turn.
Oh, before I forget, these rats are diseased. Let's get fortitude saves against their filth fever from both Grip and Faustin.
Can't I just use that 26 I just rolled?
Nauseated or diseased?
Natural 20 on that roll.
Great.
Oh, nice.
24.
All right.
So when one is covered with a swarm,
Yes.
how does one get out of this situation?
One can just move because the cluster of them can't take attacks of opportunity. They're just basically attacking whatever they're on, but you can edge out of it without provoking from them.
Is this one of those situations where I can move and draw? The old drop and draw?
Oh, you could do the old drop and draw because he's got a base attack bonus of at least 1, right?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
He could also just hold on to his crossbow with one hand, right? Can't he?
What weapon is he going to draw?
The rapier.
He could hold on to the crossbow in his left hand and draw that rapier in his right.
Thank you for that technicality, Johnny. That's what I'm going to do then, and I'm going to make a move toward the east entrance. Yeah,
Trying to draw the swarm away from the chapel.
exactly.
Oh, moving away from the chapel.
Interesting.
Great, so Faustin ends up right next to Gull on just opposite sides of the barricade. Horse piss.
What did you call me?
Right behind Jared and Denman, the statue to Desna, the statue that has been providing the magical effect that protects your dreams, goes flying down to the floor and takes a whole bunch of damage as it smashes and like bits of butterfly wing break off. Then there is a clicking of claws. But let's talk now, since Jared is up and he's very close to where this happened, let's talk about what you can do to
Take a...
detect
Yeah.
invisible creatures.
I mean, his perception's kind of shit, but...
It's super hard. You can make the perception check to kind of get a general sense of possible direction, or you can take a standard action to grope about in 2 squares within reach to see if you can put your hands on something.
He's gonna do that. Reach out.
He would have had to be on the wall about 5 feet up, like at head height, to knock this thing over. So you want to just pick the 2 closest likely squares where something who had been clinging to the wall could knock a statue off.
Yeah.
Sure. Give me a... make a 50% mischance. Okay, groping about close to him, he does not discover any creature, but give me a perception check.
Oh, 18.
Unknown.
It's about as good as he can do.
So there is an invisible something knocking statues to the floor somewhere above Jared's head. He's used a standard action, he's got to move left.
He'll take a 5-foot step away from the area.
Ray, you are up. You have got 2 dire rats to your north, a swarm of rats to your east, and Ratchmanby across the way. What do you want to do, buddy?
I think with a double move, full withdraw, I can get to the other side of these doors.
Great,
but
still on the move. Yep.
That's what I do.
Moving out of the library towards the chapel. Dora, you are up. You are just inside the doors, and the swarm of rats is right in front of you.
Dora's gonna back up 30 feet directly to the west and throw... is Grip still in the rats?
Grip is still in the rats.
So if I throw Alchemist Fire, I get Grip.
Yes.
Can I hold my action until Grip clears out of the rat swarm?
Since you've taken a move, you can now ready an action to throw it if Grip leaves.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Great. Gull, you are up. You are on the main hall side of the barricade. Valston's right next to you, and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet in front of you, you can see Grip completely coated in rats.
I am going to try to jump over the barricade with an acrobatics check. Natural 19.
You're good. It's 10 feet of movement.
As part of that move action, I will also draw a Thunderstone, and I will continue to move forward another 5 feet, and I'll ready an action to throw my Thunderstone, and I'll yell, Grip, get out of there.
Nesa's up. Nesa is adjacent to the rat swarm with a torch.
I think she would probably take a swing at him with the torch.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
She's inside the chapel, so she'd just be like, ah!
Can she do it from there, or does she need to take a 5-foot step north?
If she does it from there around the corner, they would have cover.
I think she would probably do it from cover just because she also wants to keep the doorway open for anybody else that might be coming through. Yeah, she'd wildly swing at it. She's totally gonna swing at it. We'll see if she gets it. All right, Nesa, and she's blessed too. Natural 1.
Oh,
Nesa.
oh no!
We're not on the water.
I fare much better. Deck side. Y'all hear the sound of spellcasting from somewhere in the middle of the Great Hall. Danae. Well, I guess let's check in. I didn't trigger all those ready to actions because it's this giant swarm of tiny little creatures, which didn't feel like something people would waste their action firing a crossbow at. But if any of you feel strongly like, no, I would have shot at the swarm, just holler at me and I will honor that for sure. But Danae is up. Danae's got, crossbow in hand?
Yeah.
It's 5, 10, 15 feet from the swarm.
I
Or
don't
20 feet.
Yeah, I don't think that she would fire at a swarm because
Yeah.
she would. I don't know that they would have seen swarms before, but I think that she would.
Nothing quite like this.
Yeah, would she be like, this crossbow bolt isn't going to do spit?
Yeah, it would look... So it's not like looking at a swarm of, say, tiny insects, but it would be the thing you look at it and be like, what am I even shooting at?
Yeah. You're like, I'll hit a rat or two, but it's not going to do anything. She is going to do that same thing of trying to reach around her and see if there's anything
Yes. Close to her on
close
the wall,
to her
invisible.
on the wall, invisible.
She does not find anything.
And she'd make a perception check, even
Great.
though she probably won't be able to find anything. Never hurts to kind of look around. And she does not find
All right.
anything.
Mura?
Mura will move up to within 30 feet to just within 30 feet point blank range of the swarm
Yeah.
and throw a bludgeoning rock at it.
Oh, okay. Limbudicacus hefts a can of food or something,
14
hitting the swarm.
for jack shit bludgeoning damage, but for 2 bludgeoning.
And it does look like this particular size of swarm might actually take damage from bludgeoning weapons. Rats go flying as this can of food clocks into the swarm. Denman, you are up. Oh, yeah.
Is when characters have point blank shot, is that factored into their to hit? It's
No,
probably not.
it is not.
So that would have been a 15 to hit, doesn't matter. But
An extra point of damage.
Yeah. 3 points
yeah,
of damage.
yeah, so 3 damage.
I got it. Yep, great.
Thank you.
Denman is 15 feet away from the swarm.
All right, so he has seen bludgeoning damage
Yeah.
now affect this swarm.
Yeah.
He's gonna drop the crossbow
Yeah.
and
Move up with his club and take a swing. It's pretty strong, right?
Yeah, he's not bad. I'm just making sure he's got. Yes, he does have enough of a base attack, so he'll step and swing
All right, closing with the swarm that is covering Grip.
for a 20
Hit!
for 4 points of damage.
Nice. All right, rats are flying left and right as folks are getting an eyeball in the chapel now on what might actually be able to hurt these things. Then Grip, you are up.
From within the swarm, can I swat the swarm, or do I need to move and then hit it?
You can attack.
Do I need to do more saving throws?
No, on their turn. So you're fine for the moment. So you can just start ripping rats off you and stepping on them.
Then
and crushing
I
them.
will. I'm gonna flurry of blows the rats.
Yeah, you are.
All right, so I'm doing the flurry of blows.
Yes.
Bless is still going on. Yes,
It is.
The first one, 19 on the die,
That is a hit.
and then the second one, 21.
That is a hit as well.
Awesome. So that's 2 hits at 1d6 plus 5, because I'm strong. So the first one, 8 points of damage.
Yep.
Second one, another 8.
And you all marvel as Grip punches a fucking swarm of rats into paste that disperses. We're gonna pick up the second half of this epic battle next time, because that's the end of chapter 29. All right, see you soon. Dark Nexus is a creation of Plug and Hum Productions. This podcast uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated, which are used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo Inc. For more information about Paizo's community use policy, please visit paizo.com/communityuse. And for more information about Paizo and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. That's PAIZO.com. Dark Nexus uses music and soundscapes by Sirenscape. Check them out at sirenscape.com. That's SYRINSCAPE.com. Opening and closing themes, along with additional music, composed by Rob Kauzlaric. Artwork for Dark Nexus is by Matt Wahlquist. Special thanks to Toy, without whose generosity this project would not have been possible. And thanks to DMCP, Richard and Ari, Paul and Shannon, Chris, Scotty, Jason, Jess, Joe, Chelsea, Matt, Dave, Darren, and everyone we've gamed with over the years for all the memories and inspiration.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. Sorry. All right, now that I got that out of my system.